Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Gratitam Puranam Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamritavarshini Bhagavati Ashtadashadhyayini Ambatvamanusandatai Bhagavad Geetā Bhavatveshini. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Brahmarpanam Brahmahavihi Brahmagnav Brahmana Utam Brahmaiva Tena Gantavyam Brahma Karma Samadhina. Brahma is said to be the spoon or the ladle with which an offering like havis, which could be ghee, clarified butter, is offered in fire. Who offers it? It is said, Brahmana Hutam. The man who offers is Brahma. The spoon in which he holds clarified butter is Brahma. The clarified butter itself is Brahma, number 3. And the fire is Brahma, number 4. As a result of the ritual, the man acquires punya, merit, and with that punya, he may go, his soul may go to certain lokas, swarga or even higher. That destination is also Brahma, 5, and then not exactly 6, but the Yajamana who is offering, to whom a reference was already made, Brahmana Hutam, is further described, Brahma Karma Samadhina. That is, when this man fixes his mind in Brahma, first of all, he looks at the karma, the Vedika karma, that yajna karma, that fire sacrifice. He looks at that karma as no different from Brahma. Brahma eva karma, Brahma karma. And looking at everything as no different from Brahma, he successfully fixes his mind in that understanding. Fixing the mind is samadhi. Fixing the mind is samadhana. So Brahma Karma Samadhina is an adjective to what was earlier called Brahmana, which is for Yajamanena. Yajamana is the person who is performing the ritual. There may be a priest who is guiding him, but the Yajamana is actually doing. Earlier it was said, Brahmana Hutam. Yajamana, the performer who is offering the havis, is Brahma. Now it is said at the last part of this 24th shloka that this Yajamana fixes his mind in the scenario that is kept in mind. 999 out of 1000 may not be able to do this, but one rare Brahmajnani who is performing the ritual looks at the entire ritual as Brahma and has his mind firmly fixed firmly concentrated. Samadhi means concentration. This shloka has a lot of significance. It can mean a lot to you and me in our daily transactions also. We will see a little bit and then take some really beautiful comments that Adi Shankara has made on this shloka. Incidentally, in some ashrams, this Brahmarpanam Brahmahavi is recited just before Bhojana. They may chant the 15th chapter of Gita, they may chant, recite a few other things, but just before beginning to eat, they recite this Brahmarpanam Brahmahavi. You may wonder why this shloka is recited. In simple terms, before we consume food, we remember God. Brahma of the Advaita Vedanta itself is Ishvara, one notch below. One notch below because at the level of Advaita Brahma, there is no division between the ruler and the ruled. One notch below, Ishvara is the ruler and all the Jivatmas are the ruled. Ishvara, the very word means one who rules. Ishvara Smaranam, therefore, remembering God, is one simple meaning of reciting the shloka before the meal. But deeper, if we look deeper, what it means is God has given us this food. God is helping us eat. God is empowering us to digest this food. God alone is involved in the entire process behind food coming on our plate, on this dining table. Everything, the subject, the object, the instrument, are all God. That would be a non-dualistic higher interpretation. On the lower level, we are humble Jivatmas and we thank God. Like in Christianity, I guess, they thank God for giving them the daily bread. God is giving their daily bread. They are able to live one more day thanks to God's mercy, God's compassion. That is the dualistic interpretation. We say that is very good, it is valid, but there is a higher, one notch above interpretation too. Incidentally, this reciting the 24th shloka before Bhojana Vidhi, before Bhojana, can be extended to all kinds of human activities. I can go on and on, but I'll give two scenarios. One is a simple, a bit humorous scenario. In India especially, cricket is very popular. The game of cricket, which India got, I guess, from the British. Though in some other form there might have been some game in India, but what we have today as international cricket is to a great extent what is left behind by the British. In the game of cricket, you apply this 24th verse. The batsman is Brahman, the ball is Brahman, the bowler is Brahman, the umpire is Brahman, the wickets, the bat, so on and so forth. The fielders, the spectators, victory thereof, one kind of phala, defeat thereof, another kind of phala. Therefore, anything and everything connected to the game of cricket is all Brahman. In other words, on Brahman, the reality, a certain pluralistic scenario appears. Or you want to say, Brahman itself appears as all of them. That would be slightly technically better. Otherwise, there is Brahman as though it is a passive entity and the dynamic game appears upon it from somewhere, coming from somewhere. That would be duality of some kind. Brahma alone is, and Brahma itself appears in this way. That then leaves no room for duality. Just as on the cinema screen, when the movie appears, there is duality. There is the screen. Over there is the projector, which has film in it, and there is a source of light, as though there are many factors. But the Advaita Vedanta hastens to add, those are limitations of the illustrations. In actuality, there is only one without a second. So apply this anywhere and everywhere. Before going further from this cricket example to an example of day-to-day psychology, let me make a comment. In the game of cricket, once someone has that understanding, a Brahmajnani, let us say, is playing cricket. Brahmajnani could be the batsman, a Brahmajnani could be the bowler, a Brahmajnani is standing over there as the umpire. You may wonder, if somebody is a Brahmajnani, can he play cricket at all? Why not? He can do anything under the sun. He can very well play cricket. Therefore, there is no virodha. There is no opposition between any karma and Brahmajnana. But when there is Brahmajnana, it doesn't come in the way of any activity. Of course, adharmic activities vanish on their own, but activities like playing cricket, doing business, running a household, taking care of children or grandchildren, all this can happen. Then what's the difference? Will not go to much length, but one simple aspect can be highlighted. You play cricket, your team loses. You do not perform well. You return after scoring just 2 runs back to the pavilion. If you are a Brahmajnani, inwardly you will be smiling. Inwardly, victory and defeat are the same. Why inwardly? Outwardly, you may say, oh, I made a mistake, so I lost. Or when you win, you may jump like anybody else. Jump in joy, hug the other players in your team, celebrate. That's an outward show, but inwardly detached. Therefore, in day-to-day transactions, the ability to maintain equanimity is the main difference with there being Brahmajnana or there being no Brahmajnana. And the second and last example before we proceed to Shānkara Bhāshya is what I already called a scenario of human psychology. As you and I work at home, in offices, in various institutions, and so on, human life is such, there are differences of opinion. You find some people working with whom is wonderful, and some other people working with whom is a challenge. They hurt you, you hurt them. They have no total faith in you. You do not trust them fully. And there are many forms of misunderstanding, many forms of wrong perception. In an example, Stephen Covey narrates in his famous book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Two naval captains are in argument. It seems the two ships are about to collide, and the captain of the ship, who is senior in rank, to the captain of the other ship, who is junior, gets very angry, says to the junior captain of the ship, "Move away, I am senior to you, move away." And then finally it emerges that the so-called junior captain was not really steering, navigating a ship. Rather, he was on a port or a base station on the land. Because of poor visibility and other factors, it seemed that both sides were ships. If both sides were moving ships, the senior naval officer was right in demanding that the junior naval officer move aside, make way for the senior officer's ship. But this is not ship at all, it is land. By the way, those of you who have a little familiarity, terminology of Navy, I used to be in Naval NCC in my high school days, so I learned this. All over in Indian, I'm talking of Indian context, you have so many INS Shivaji, INS Hamsa, and names are given. And whether it's a moving ship or it is a campus, a facility, a large naval establishment on the land, the name given is INS. And what does INS stand for? Indian Naval Ship. So INS, something would be a training center firmly on the ground. But it's also called ship, Indian Naval Ship. All right. Coming back, what a misunderstanding. The senior officer thought the junior officer is so arrogant, he is refusing to move to the right or left, and is nonchalantly requesting me to move. I am senior, why should I move? He should move and make way. Then he realizes, oh, the other guy is manning or heading a non-moving naval base. This happens in our relationships all the time, especially when both sides or one of the sides is poor in communication. What he wants to say is one thing, but what he actually says is not clear, doesn't go the same way to the other party. This man has something in mind, but the words he uses are such that the other party misunderstands it. So what is the connection of Brahmarpanam Brahmahavi? I'll put it in a simple way. If you deeply meditate on Brahmarpanam Brahmahavi, you will be able to do peace, make peace with those who disagree. How? Even though there is disagreement, even though there is argument too, deep inside you, you know that he too is Brahman. I too am Brahman. He is as lovable as I am. He is actually as loving as I am. I am loving and lovable. He is loving and lovable. And right now there is a certain misunderstanding, but that should not come in the way of a sense of oneness. Then of course, all said and done, the final decision could be either way. It doesn't mean that when you look at another person also as God, you will agree to everything that he says. You may walk away from a team, or you are the big boss, you may ask him to move away, leave the team. Hire, fire, promote, demote, say goodbye, or join together for yet another big piece of work. Those are externalities. But even as all those decisions are taken, they are taken and implemented without losing touch with the divine ground, which is the same for all. With this, let's take a look at how Adi Shankara comments in an excellent manner. He first covers the word meanings. Take a look at the Bhāshya, which many of you have in your hands, following verse 24 of chapter 4. Brahmarpanam, there is Sandhi. Brahma Arpanam, Brahmarpanam. However, there is only Sandhi, there is no Samasa. Samasa is a grammatical process in Sanskrit where two words not only come together and there may be Sandhi in them, but also they become a compound word. A compound word, like soap box in English. A box that keeps soap. A box in which a soap can be put. It's a compound word. Shankara clarifies that this first expression, Brahmarpanam, is not a compound. It's not a single word. Then what is it? It is a sentence where Brahma is the subject and Arpanam Bhavati is the predicate. In English, Brahman is the spoon, Brahman the subject. When you say Dhritarashtra is the king, Dhritarashtra is the subject, is the king, is the predicate. So Brahmarpanam, it's of special importance here because as you will see, within two words later, you have another expression, Brahmagnau, where it is a compound, Brahmagni. Brahma itself is Agni, so Brahmagni. In it, Brahma itself is the fire. So Brahma Arpanam is a sentence where Brahma is the subject of the sentence. Brahma is Arpanam. Let's see, Brahma Arpanam. But what is Arpanam? Arpanam here is not offering, but it's the instrument. So we call it the spoon. So you have certain Vedic words. Sruk, Sruva. They are the sadhanas, different kinds of ladles, shaped in different ways, made of different samagri. It could be made of wood, it could be made of metal. Metal again, different choices. So the ladle, the spoon used to offer havis in fire is Arpanam, not the act of offering. Somewhere else, our arpanam, samarpanam can mean the act of offering. But here it is the karana, the instrument, upakarana. Yena karanena brahmavit, a knower of Brahman, havihi agnau arpayati, offers havis in fire, tad brahmaiva iti pashyati. So this shloka represents the ultimate vision. When the performer looks at the spoon also as Brahman and not different from Brahman. Being a champion of Advaita Vedanta, Sri Shankaracharya says Brahma eva iti pashyati, and then the next sentence, Tasya Atma Vyatirekena Abhavam pashyati. Rather than using the word Brahma once more, he uses the word Atma. Atma is oneself. So this ladle is Brahman. This ladle is not different from Brahman. This ladle is not different from me, the pure self in me. Because the pure self in us is no different from Brahma that pervades, that underlies the entire creation, entire universe. Therefore, Brahma eva iti pashyati, Atma vyatirekena abhavam pashyati. It doesn't exist, abhava, other than Atma. You are the person who is offering. You yourself are the ladle. You yourself are the fire. You yourself are the havis, the offering, and so on. To make matters easier for anybody's comprehension, Adi Shankara adds, Yatha Shuktikayam Rajata Abhavam Pashyati. The moment you know what is lying at a distance is a certain seashell which shines like silver. And because of its appearance, you may continue to see silver there, but you know this silver is the seashell only, the seashell called mother of pearl. This silver is 100% the seashell only. This silver which I am seeing is 0% silver. There is no silver there at all. When a seashell looks like silver, it's very attractive. When a rope looks like a snake, it is so repulsive, you want to run away. So, Vedanta gives such examples. What attracts you is actually you yourself. What repels you is actually you yourself. Quickly, I may connect it once more. When you work together with people, those who get on your nerve are really you yourself. If you hate him, you are hating yourself. Be careful. Don't hate anybody. And those who attract you, how nice these people are. I want to work more and more with these people and not with those people. So ragadveshas arise when you are working with different people. This Brahmarpanam Brahmahavi says, those who are attracting you, about whom you have increased desire to work with, are really you yourself. Therefore, don't get attached. Because attachment is possible with something other than yourself. They are not other than yourself. This is expressed by seers and mystics in the way you are the world. You are the world. Throughout the day, things that disturb you are actually no different from you. You are projecting something and that is hurting. Next time somebody hurts you, think Vedantically. I feel he is doing something which is hurting. Next step, I think he is not hurting. How I see him is hurting. Therefore, where is the source of hurt? Inside you. How I see her, how I see him, how I see that place. And a passing comment could be made. How you see somebody is the result of your memories, your past, your conditionings, the influences that have been in your life. With those influences playing their game, you see a person as intolerable or highly lovable, etc., etc. It is you who is projecting your memories over that person. All right. Shata Shuktikayam Rajata Abhavam Pashya. There is no silver, Rajata Abhava, in that seashell. 100% it is an ordinary seashell, which of course shines like silver dust. Taduchyate Brahmaiva Arpanam. Therefore, the ladle carrying clarified butter called Arpanam is Brahma only. Just as Adi Shankara's words, Yad Rajatam Tat Shuktika Eva. What appears as silver is 100% the seashell only. On a cinema screen, what appears as an elephant is 100% just the screen. Go and touch the trunk of the elephant. Touch the tuskers or the tusks. Touch the body of the elephant. You are touching the screen only, everywhere. Yad rajatam tat shuktika eva. Therefore, yad arpanam, the ladle, the spoon, tat brahma eva. Iti brahma arpanam iti asamaste pade. Be careful. Somewhere else, samasta can mean everybody. Samasta jana kalyani niratam karunamayam namami chinmayam devam sadgurum brahma vidvaram. There is a popular shloka. I salute Chinmaya Sadguru, who is engaged in the well-being of samasta jana. Here samasta means all. He is engaged in being of service to all. Samasta. But here samasta is not all. Samasta means made into a samasa. Made into a samasa. Instead of saying Ramaha, Krishnaha cha vanam gacchataha. Rama and Krishna go to the forest. You say Ramakrishna vanam gacchataha. It's a compound word. So Brahmarpanam is not a compound word, as we explained before. Brahma is the subject, Arpanam asti, Arpanam bhavati is the predicate. It's not a single compound. So Brahma Arpanam iti dve pade atra staha. There are two words here. Te dve pade, those two words are not samasta. They are not made into a samasa. Asamaste pade. Look at them as separate. Sandhi has taken place. Sandhi doesn't mean there is samasa. So, Brahmarpanam iti asamaste pade. Yad arpana buddhya grihyate loke tadasya brahmavidaha brahma eva ityartaha. Loke, which means vast numbers of people, when they hold a spoon, look at the spoon as a spoon. They don't say this is Brahman. Right? Arpana buddhya grihyate loke. But for a Brahma with, it is Brahma eva. Therefore, extend it, Brahmarpanam Brahma havihi. Here also Brahma is the subject, havihi bhavati is the predicate. There is neither sandhi nor samasa here. In the first part, Brahmarpanam, there was sandhi, but there was no samasa. Brahma havihi. So how do we explain it? Yat havihi, yat havir buddhya grihyate. Havir buddhi is a samasa. That which is held in the spoon and looked at as havis could be clarified better. There could be other samagri which is also used as havis. Havis is whatever is offered in the fire. Yat havir buddhya grihyamanam tad brahma eva asya. To whom? Not to 999 out of 1000 practitioners. 1 in 1,000, 1 in 10,000, 1 in a million. They once asked a Shankaracharya of Sringeri, I guess it was Chandrasekhara Bharati. Presently there are two Swamis in Sringeri. You have Bharati Tirtha Swami called Mahasannidhanam and Vidushekara Swami Shri Sannidhanam. Bharati Tirtha Swami's guru was Abhinava Vidya Tirtha and Abhinava Vidya Tirtha's guru was Chandrasekhara Bharati, all in Sringeri. Chandrasekhara Saraswati was another very great Mahatma of Kanchi Kamakoti. But talking of Sringeri, Chandrasekhara Bharati was said to be a Brahmajnani and much is said about him. This Chandrasekhara Bharati was once asked, you are a Brahmajnani. You look at everything as one truth. Why do you have to do those rituals for 2 hours a day in the morning and maybe more in the evening? Every morning, the Shankaracharyas sit down and do something like 2 hours of elaborate Chandramaulishvara Puja, the worship of Lord Shiva, having Chandra in his Mauli upon the head. And Chandrasekhara Bharati's reply was astounding. He said, in a sense, I am doing puja, but I am aware all the time that the worshipper, things used to do worship, mantras chanted, all of them are one. Therefore, I do it without a sense of being the doer. I am the doer. That other Swami does not perform any puja. I do so much of puja. In this way, somebody has a certain abhimana. Or another Swami who does not worship at all is feeling bad. I too should start some puja every morning. I have to be more self-disciplined, and so on. They are all in avidya bhumi. Next time you pat yourself on the back, I did well. Whether you like it or not, it is in avidya bhumi, in the frame of reference of ignorance. Next time you say, I don't know how I am doing one mistake after another. I am into so much of pramada. This morning while making coffee, I put sugar 3 times, every time forgetting that I had already put. Another day, I thought I had put sugar and served to a guest. And he said, can you get some sugar? I had forgotten. I had mixed up everything. Pramada. And you feel low. A minute. Vedanta would say, move on. Be careful next moment. but let go of the labels that you put on yourself. I have been making mistakes. I am useless. I am low. I am bad, and so on. Without any memories persecuting you, while admitting honestly, yes, a mistake took place. But then you move on with alertness. There is a time for introspection, for looking back. But that's different from drowning in memories. To look back at the right time, to learn lessons is all right. But to remain agitated over wrong things that happen at your hands is unspiritual. So it is said, Tata Brahmagnau iti samastam padam. See, Brahmarpanam, there is no compound. But Brahmagnau is a compound word. We call it Karmadharaya Tamasa. Brahma itself is fire. In the fire of Brahman, you offer clarified butter placed in a spoon or a ladle. Brahma Agnau iti samastam padam. Earlier, Brahma Arpanam iti asamaste pade. Agnirapi Brahma eva yatra huyate. Fire also is Brahma, yatra huyate. Yatra havanam priyate, where it is offered. Brahmana kartra. Touching upon yet another word from the shloka, please see, that is where when you study Shankara Bhāshya, you must have a pencil with you, or if you are working on a PDF on the computer, the PDF has a feature highlighter. Highlight those words with a certain color. I highlight the words of the shloka in yellow. And if I have to mark any other portion in the PDF, which I am right now also using on my laptop, I use light pink to mark that. Some portion which is worth highlighting during the lecture. For example, this asamaste pade, samastam padam, put a pink marker by the side. So Brahmagnau is a word from the shloka Brahmana Hutam. Brahmagnau Brahmana Hutam. Brahmana means Kartra, by the Karta, that is by the Yajamana. Brahma eva Karta. One who is performing also is Brahma only. Tena Hutam Havana Kriya Kritam Krikrita Tad Brahma eva. Yattena Gantavyam Phalam. The shloka says, Brahmaiva tena gantavyam. Gantavya is where you reach. What is meant is the phala. The phala doesn't have to be loka. Sometimes you do some punya karma. The phala could be within a few days or at a later time. From nowhere you get a lot of financial help. Someone comes and writes a check. $30,000. Take this, use it in your business. You wonder, why is he giving this to me? What have I done for her, for him? He smiles and says, well, don't ask all those questions. Please, it is the result of some punya karma you had performed. That is gantavyam. So whatever good or bad, pleasant or unpleasant results that come our way, that's also Brahma eva. Brahma karma samadhina. This is a single longer compound. Acharya Shankara explains, first of all, Brahma eva karma. The very action also is Brahma. Brahma eva karma. Karmadharaya samasa. Then tasmin Brahma karmani samadhi yasya saha. Brahma karma samadhi. We call this Bahuvrihi samasa. So Brahma and Karma come together into one compound that joins hands with Samadhi and makes a bigger compound. Compounds inside compounds. What does this mean? Tasmin Samadhi yasya saha Brahma Karma Samadhi. So Samadhi here is mental concentration or absorption, or I would say staying firmly in that understanding. When you and I reduce our rajas and the sattva in us increases, it is our experience that at many places, in many situations, where we were a while before agitated, come to look at the situation in a harmonious manner. A while ago, you were grinding your teeth against her, against him, angry. But then, either because some information comes from somewhere, or you yourself realize, oh, wait a minute, oh no, I misunderstood. And then the very person whom you were hating a while ago comes across as very lovable. That is a sattvic glimpse. Now, it is possible for you and me to stay in that sattvic position. Don't slip back into rajasic and tamasic, where there is division, where there is separation, where there is disharmony. So here it is not just a matter of letting go of tamas and rajas and staying in sattva. The present context is staying in Brahman. Brahma karma samadhina. The Brahmajnani stays in the understanding where he does not hate anybody, even if he has to take some so-called punitive action, some punishment. A Brahmajnani would do so, would punish. But he knows, and people who have the eyes to see know, that even in that punishment, there was love. When a boss in a company realizes that this particular employee should no more be in this office, in this company, he is given termination letter. But a Brahmajnani has no hatred. On the contrary, the Brahmajnani looks at that employee who is shown the door, no doubt, as someone who will actually be better off. For a while he may suffer, but very soon this will give him the opportunity to change himself. And very soon he will be on the path of rise. Therefore, we are dismissing him, but it will do good to him. This is the view of the Brahmajnani. So to stay anchored on a lower level in sattva and to stay anchored on a higher level or the highest level in the supreme Brahman makes someone Brahma karma samadhi. You may ask somebody next time, how is your sadhana going on? Are you nowadays a BKS? I'm not talking about BKS Iyengar. BKS can stand for Brahma Karma Samadhi. I don't know what BKS actually means. In that famous yoga guru who wrote many books, I guess, but his famous book, Light of Yoga, a bestseller around the world, probably a textbook in many institutes of learning. BKS Iyengar. Once in a little conference in Pune, I had the opportunity, I guess it was World Day for Reverence for All Life. Some Sindhis, led by Mr. K.P. Daswani, used to organize every year a certain day, meatless day, and they would have day of reverence for all life. That means don't kill animals for your food, revere life forms. That was the concept, because Sadhu T.L. Vaswani, the great, was for vegetarianism. And for his community, especially Sindhis, he said, if not all time, on one day at least in the year, some date, October 25 or some day, do not eat meat. But so that particular conference, maybe in 99 or 2000, some such year, V.K.S. Iyengar also was present. And during lunchtime, there was a lunch break. I saw on his plate, not one, 2 gulab jamuns. And old man, he was already, I guess, 90-year-old or so, or 80, 85 or something, enjoying. I politely asked, sir, you are eating 2 gulab jamuns. This man, thanks to my yoga, I don't have diabetes. And once in a while, I enjoy these things. I laughed and ate 2 gulab jamuns. VKS. But here we are, sorry for the digression. Though to many of you this digression was as sweet as a gulab jamun, I know. Brahma Karma Samadhi, VKS. Who is a Brahma Karma Samadhi? Or when you ask somebody, are you VKS these days? Are you able to position yourself? Samadhi. Samadhi means positioning, concentrating, staying put, collecting all thoughts from other directions and keeping them in the direction where you see everything as Brahman. Are you a BKS? The other person says, with divine grace, I am. I know you are Brahman, I too am Brahman. Those whom we criticize are also Brahman. Those whom we admire are also Brahman. Mind-blowing. So, the Brahmajnani who is performing the yajna is a BKS, Brahma Karma Samadhi. His mind is fixed in looking at that karma as no different from Brahma. Brahma eva karma, Brahma karma. Tasmin samadhi yasya bahurihi saha Brahma karma samadhi. Tena evam rupena, evam prakarena, yamanena. Who is this yajamana? He is a BKS. Brahma karma samadhina yajamanena. Putra gantavyam, where is he to reach or what fruit he is supposed to get? Brahma eva gantavyam, supposed to receive Brahma only. The Swarga he receives or he reaches, or financial benefits that may suddenly out of the blue come to him, or some bad that happens to him. He looks at good and bad, all no different from Brahma. Brahma eva gantavyam. I guess it was disconnected. Anyway, so Shreyan Dravyamaya Jnana Yajna. This is the Jnana Yajna described. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Let me check if there are some questions or comments.